So as we all know, we find queen cells on the other apiary that we were, and we have find a frame with lots of brood eggs, kept brood, mostly kept brood, and a queen cell. So we put those two boxes of brood, kept brood and a queen cell on a box that it's gonna be here. So you're gonna set up here. The queen is gonna hatch in a week or so, and that will become our nuc. That queen will get made naturally, gets made, and that becomes our nuc. And this one is the one I did it 2 weeks ago. I introduced a queen that I found in another hive that I thought was a dead out. I find a queen with 5 bees. So I introduced the queen to 2 frames of bees, and they accepted her. I have chicken. I can show you, and the queen is laying. So over here we took the bees, 2 frames of bees with the queen cell. So only have 3 frames, so I'm gonna add 2 more frames to this box. But since they calm down now, I'm gonna recheck, make sure, because I never found the queen on the box that I took the queen cells. I think they requeening. Something happens to the queen. I don't think that's a swarm imminent yet. What I found is they're trying to requeen. Something happens to the queen, and here's our double queen cell down the bottom here. This one is the one who has the queen cell, and there's eggs here, fresh eggs. So this is definitely gonna requeen it in a few days. This is definitely gonna requeen in a few days. I see no queen. I'm always afraid of taking the queen, but I double checked 3-4 times over that box. I must have spent a long time. I spent actually a long time looking for a queen, and I didn't see her there, and I didn't see her on these 2 frames of bees and eggs that I bring it. So we're gonna leave this alone because she's gonna requeen it. There's the queen cell, 2 queen cells, so she's gonna requeen it, that's for sure. So that's our 2.5 frames of bees that we bring it from the other place. We bring them here from the other place. So no. 2 weeks ago I find this queen. She was a very good queen on that hive, and she was laying out nice, very nice. So I don't know what happened to it. Like I said, it's nature. We never know. It might surprises you. I'm gonna choose 2 of these frames with a little bit of honey to give them a little food too. And we finish this nuc. You're gonna leave them alone for 10 days or so, and they will requeen it. That I know for sure. There's a queen cell, so they're gonna accept that queen, and they're gonna be good. Gonna be a good nuc in in less than a month. They're gonna start doing good. The queen's gonna hatch, gonna lay eggs, start laying, and they're gonna be okay. So I want to show you, if you want to see this one, they accept the queen. This is two weeks old. That's the one who accepted the queen. All right, I'm gonna just open quickly to show you 2 weeks old nuke with a natural introduction of a natural queen that I find on a dead out, that I thought was a dead out, but it was not a dead out. I found a queen laying on my truck, and I introduced it to this nuke that I had here to make a queen cell, and they accepted the queen, and she's laying. They collecting already nectar, as you see. There's a lot of nectar being collected on this frame. Of course, there's I put a frame, there's still a little bit of honey left, so they can munch on it. Let's see if I can show you a little bit of eggs. They're very calm. I mean, they're very calm here. Here's a frame of eggs. And there's new eggs in between. You might not be able to see them, but I don't know if you can zoom in enough to see the new eggs here. There's new eggs. There's old eggs and there's new eggs. And she is beautiful. I see her the other day. They accept her with no... This is a 50-50 chance. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't accept a queen. There's new eggs here as well. Old, some are old, some are already new. I know she's laying. Some reason I don't see her. There's a few drones, so she's doing well. I didn't see her today. Usually when I look for her, I don't see her. There's more eggs here. There she is. There she is. That's a salvage, or whatever you call it, queen. I just lost her, but she was right in here. There she is, a salvage queen. That I thought was a dead out, and there it is. She's very happy. She was almost dead, and now she's very happy and she's laying. So it's a 2-week-old nuke, and already have a queen. They accepted the queen, and they are doing well. They are collecting pollen. They're making a little bit of nectar. So just leave them alone for another few weeks until they fill up these 5 frames of brood and ready to be moved into a regular hive. They'll become a nuke at that point. A nice nuke, all naturally made, like I show you how I make my nukes. We're gonna make another nuke. I had 4 queens, virgin queens. I'm trying something out. I never did this, but today I have the pleasure of having queens hatching on my fingers. One of the nukes I had. So I collect 4 virgin queens, which is, I'm gonna take 2 frames of bees on that box and put her on that box and introduce a queen, and we're gonna take it to a different location, so the bees that I take from there, they don't go back to the box, and we'll see how it goes. We'll follow up with you in a week or 2 if they accept the queen, or if they're gonna kill it and do their own queen. We'll see. This has a lot of bees, so we can afford taking a couple of frames. The question is, I don't have a queen excluder on this one because it's a 8 frame box, and I don't have 8 frame excluders. So, but you can see it's bees on the second box, almost side to side. So in the bottom there's a lot of bees. So I just don't want to take this queen out. I might look at it for the queen. I have to look at it for her. She was on the bottom box the last time I did this, and they made a mess. They have been making a mess here. Something has to be done. I have to scrape this off again. They keep making a mess. Because I built my own boxes, I think I left a little bit of space in between, more than they should, so they built comb. But I'm trying to do everything natural, the natural way. Even the boxes I build, most of my boxes, that's where I believe to. Sometimes it's out of scrap. This Nook box is made out of plywood. You buy a sheet of plywood and you can make 5 or 6 boxes for $30. It's very cheap, and that's how I do my stuff. I like to do it. It's pollen. So the first priority here is finding the queen. I don't want to take the queen with me. They're collecting nectar here and lots of pollen. I would like to take 2 full frames. 2 full frames. There's eggs, lots of eggs. So the queen has been here. This frame has eggs, but less than a day old. But actually we're going to introduce a queen and we need to take lots of eggs. You can take brood, and when today is windy, it's making my life difficult here. There it is. I always like to take brood because brood they hatch and lasts longer than. I don't see the queen here, so I'm gonna take this frame into it. And as long as I don't see the queen, and I don't take her. Here's more brood. And then I'll see the queen. Says this doesn't have a queen excluded. Maybe the queen is on that box. It could be on an upper box. I find a lot of eggs in the upper box too, so sometimes she could be there. But there's new eggs. She's probably will be here. I don't know. I haven't seen her yet. She could be in that frame. They're collecting. They start collecting honey. So I don't see her. There'll be a mistake introducing a queen to a queen. So. And I don't mind taking eggs from here because the top box has lots and lots of eggs. Because there's no screen. I'm assuming she probably will be on top, not on the bottom. That's the downside of not having a queen excluder. So there's lots of pollen here. So we take 2 frames. So we're gonna put 2 frames down the bottom here, which is we're gonna do this. Move this a little bit and put the empty frames more towards the middle. can make a, they can draw a brood comb, and she can lay more. And I'm assuming she could be, this is enough because you're going to introduce a queen. There's a lot of eggs in there, so they're going to do good. Let's close the entrance here, so when you carry them, we don't get a surprise. So let's put this box on top and see if we can find a queen. There's a lot of eggs here. Just want to make sure that we don't take her, because I definitely have to introduce a queen to those frames. There's a lot of bees here, so on this top box they sealed everything, and there's a lot of bees in here. There's nectar. They're collecting nectar, and fresh new nectar right here, which is, if you have a queen excluded, they don't allow them to have eggs up here. But since this is an 8-frame box and I don't have an 8-frame queen excluder, there's eggs up here. There's pollen and there's nectar, and there's a lot of nectar here. They're collecting nectar like crazy. Pretty soon you're gonna have the honey flow up on us, so this is, I probably have to put another super on top. There's more nectar, lots of nectar. See, there's eggs, there's drone eggs up here on top, and there's more drone eggs here. Well, she looks like she has been moving down, but probably she still comes up here and plays around. There's full of eggs. See, there's brood here, which is, if I had the queen excluded, we wouldn't have this mess. This is a super, and it has eggs. It has brood over here, and I won't be surprised to see there's more brood. See, half a box, half a super of brood, which is, I hope she starts laying on the bottom and do honey on top. Without that queen excluded, it's almost impossible not to do. See, there's honey here. There's more, another cluster of honey. She's laying out pretty good, but in a wrong box. In the wrong box. So we got to do something later on, because it's going to be a mess. There's a lot of nectar. They're collecting nectar, but the problem with the collecting of the nectar, they putting it, the queen is laying on the wrong box. But I don't see her. I have to double check that box, make sure I don't take her with me. That would suck. On this side to block the wind a little bit. Some of these frames have a hole, so you have to be careful, because they pass. You miss the queen by doing that. And it's not the first time that I carry the queen in my nuke box. I have to be very careful, because it's very easy taking her, messing her, and taking her with you. But no, I don't see her. I I don't see her in my nuke box. Now having a queen excluder is you have to search 2 boxes instead of 1 for the queen. Even if I take her, they will requeen it, but I don't want that to happen. Them requeening, so I have to find. It's something I have on me, so grab a seat. It might take 2 hours, 5 hours. We'll see. Where she's always where on the frames there we have eggs, but sometimes if you look, she can be in a box too. Sometimes she falls off and she won't be in a frame, she'll be in a box. So if you don't see her, there's a lot of eggs here, so they will requeen it. This time of year is very for it, but there's eggs. There are plenty of eggs, fresh eggs. So now she's here. I'm gonna double check the box I'm taking out, because she might be in there. Because it's not the first time that I find her in my nuke box, so it's very easy to carry her someplace else. Alright, gonna put it together. There's eggs, so worst comes to worst, they're gonna requeen this colony, but no biggie. Just gonna check. Frames I pick is very tricky because it has holes. There she is. There she is. Usually it happens. Usually I have when I don't see her, I find her on my nuke box. We'll put her back on. That's why these are so cold. There's another way of seeing when you see it. The bees are very cold. So you're putting her right over here, and you see her going down. There she goes. So she was down the bottom, and she ended up being on my nuke box. So now we gotta take this to a different location and introducing a queen. Like I said, it's a virgin queen that I hatch in my hand, and this is a test, an experiment I'm doing to see if it works, if they accept a queen or not. So we gotta take it into a different location and introduce the queen. Right now we're gonna introduce the queen. We got it. It's one of them, the ones that are born on my hand. I put a plug of honey right in there. Some people put marshmallows and stuff. I put whatever I have. This is a plug of honey, a little bit of honey, just to plug it in. Because they're really accepting her. Gotta take one frame out. Gotta take one frame of these out. So I'm gonna put her right in here. Right in the middle here. Just like this. I'm gonna leave this with just 4 frames for a bit. Let's put her right there, so if they accept her. This is a test, see if they're accepting her or not. I never did it. She's a virgin queen that was hatched on my hand. So we'll see if it works. We'll see in a couple of weeks. Leave a couple of weeks. See if it works. We know it works, and we learn a little bit more about it. There they are. That's it. And that's our nuke. Let's see how it does. This is the one who was very, a couple of weeks ago, there was almost only 2 frames of bees at the queen. We reduced the box to see if we can help them, see if we can save them. So we're gonna see how they have done in 2 weeks, how this queen reacted of a small box. Oh, I like it. So far I like it. We have 5 frames of bees. Looks like she's laying. We'll see how she does. I find more bees. Looks like she has more bees. And they built a comb here. Might be a lid that it's not that sealed, and they seal it. They're smart. They seal lids. They do everything. Let's see if she has eggs. How she's doing. 2 weeks later, we decreasing the amount of space that she had. She had a tough time. Wow, they're collecting nectar and pollen. Lots of nectar and lots of pollen. Pollen and nectar in this one. And they start putting more nectar in here. So that's the first frame. Looks like the amount of bees is a little bit more. I don't know, could be wrong. Maybe it's the same amount. There's a queen cell here, but not a supersedure cell. They're collecting pollen, but I don't see eggs. I would love to see eggs. At least a frame of eggs would have been a good sign. It will be a good sign if I see a frame of eggs, or half a frame at least. But no, looks like couple cells. Oh, there she is. There she is. Right here. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there. She's getting bigger, but I haven't seen eggs, so she's not laying yet. So we'll give it another week to see what happens. I don't have eggs. They're putting so she hasn't moved much. So if she doesn't move much, you're gonna do something to it. So we're gonna give her a little bit more space, more enthusiasm, because she's not doing. I was expecting her to lay, but by now, because she's a overwinter queen, she's made. I was expecting her to better, but we'll see. See how she gets. So over here we're gonna raise this up like we did the others. Like we did the others. Let's see how they're doing. We raised this box 2 weeks ago. Still light. Still light. get them mad. Just want to see how they doing, because this I put I was expecting more bees here, but I'm gonna raise it up because it's gonna have honey flow soon. Gonna have honey flow, so I like to raise them up a couple of boxes. This is overwinter hive, so they might do good when you raise them up good. Either do good or they do not good. Let me see how they doing up top. There's many bees up top, or just the that's good. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames already up top, so let's see how they do. If they're collecting nectar or what they're doing from the top. See how they're doing. If they're collecting, yeah, they're collecting nectar. They start putting nectar on top, which is good. Which is good. You have more nectar here, so I'm not worried. They're gonna collect a lot of nectar, and I'm gonna leave it alone for a couple of weeks. So they're doing well. They're alright. These are okay. Okay, that concludes our morning inspection. So this is raised to make honey, to start making honey. That one, I don't know, it has a queen. We'll see how she does. It has been 2 weeks. She doesn't move much. We tried to save, but maybe it's not to be saved. And that one, it's experimental. It's just introducing a queen to it. A queen that I found in the queen cell this morning, just about to be hatched. And I introduced it to 2 frames of bees. So we'll see if they kill her or if she gets picked up all right. It's like I said, it's an experiment, and we'll follow up on that hive, and we'll let you know. Till next time, stay safe and save the bees.